Hi, for this video what we're going to do is we're going to look at asymptotes for a given rational function. If you remember, a rational function can have vertical, horizontal, or oblique asymptotes. It can have both a vertical and a horizontal, or a vertical and oblique. It cannot have a horizontal and oblique. It can also have no asymptotes as well. So with this one, what we want to do is kind of go through the rules for each of the different ones, the vertical, horizontal, and oblique, to see if this one has them. So the first one that we want to look at is vertical. So with vertical, what's going to happen is the vertical asymptote occurs at whatever makes the denominator 0 once the rational expression is in reduced form. So if you look at this value right now, I cannot simplify 1 over x plus 5 squared. So what I would do to find the vertical asymptote is I would take the denominator and I'm going to set it equal to 0, because remember, the denominator can't equal 0, because if it equals 0, then it's undefined. So we would just solve x plus 5 squared equal to 0. What happens here is if I take the square root of both sides, the 0 is just 0. So when we solve this, basically we're just going to solve what's inside. So we can see that x equals -5. So this would be our vertical asymptote. Okay, so because I cannot simplify the numerator and the denominator, it's a vertical asymptote. If it can be simplified, then that means that there is a hole at that point, because the denominator can never equal 0 in the original function. So the second one that we want to look at is the horizontal asymptote. Okay, with horizontal, a horizontal asymptote occurs if the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator. So that would mean that I would have to have x squared over x squared, which I don't in this case. Or the degree of the numerator has to be less than the degree of the denominator. So that's what we have here. The degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator. And when I'm talking about the degree, remember the degree is just the largest exponent on any variable term. So if we look at this one, there is no variable on the top, and on the bottom we have a squared is the highest variable, so we have a degree 0 is less than degree 2. So anytime the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, then we have a horizontal asymptote at the line y equals 0. So our y-axis would be our horizontal asymptote. Since we have a horizontal asymptote, we can't have an oblique asymptote. An oblique asymptote occurs if the degree of the numerator is 1 more than the degree of the denominator. So I will approach that in another video. So for this one, we can say for C, for oblique, that there are none. Okay, because of the fact that a graph cannot have both a horizontal asymptote and an oblique asymptote. So with this, just to recap, vertical occurs when the rational expression is in simplified form, whatever makes the denominator equal to 0. Horizontal occurs if the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, and any time it is less than, it's always y equals 0, and I will address what happens when the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator in another video. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. If there are other topics that you would like to see, please let me know that as well.